the whole bridge just fell down. Start is everybody. The whole bridge just collapsed.
A large container ship crashes into a bridge, causing it to collapse, sending people and vehicles into the river below.
And we're continuing to learn new details about this incident that happened early this morning.
Here's what we know tonight. Officials say 2 people were pulled from the river after the collapse, which happened around 1:30 Eastern time. The Coast Guard says it's suspended the search for 6 workers who remain missing and will begin search and recovery efforts in the morning.
And local river pilots respond to concerns over whether a similar situation could happen in New Orleans, saying that fear isn't a far reach.
As Ashland Brothers reports, the Mississippi River can be challenging to navigate.
The pilot's just along for a ride at that point.
Retired river pilot Mark Grusich sat stunned, watching as a powerless ship struck the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, causing this catastrophic collapse.
The lump in my throat, because I feel it could happen to any pilot any day, any moment.
Grusich paints a picture describing what likely happened moments leading up to the crash.
The engineers and the people working in the engine room, they're basically in a cave. They have no idea where they are or what's going on. They just know the engine's supposed to be running and it's not. So, you know, those guys are frantically doing their job, and the crew on the bridge, all they can do at that point is just warn everyone and hope they get the power back in time to steer and miss the bridge, or heaven forbid, try to stop the ship.
Knowing good and well,
there's no stopping a ship that big going 10 miles an hour.
Grusich spent 4 decades working on the Mississippi.
The river presents probably every challenge there can be to a pilot, other than tide. You have current, you have wind, you have narrow channel, you're restricted by your draft, shallow draft. A lot of traffic.
And bridges like the Crescent City Connection or Huey P. Long to worry about.
Take, for instance, the Brightfield accident that happened here in New Orleans. That accident happened, the engine shut off on the ship right next to the Greater New Orleans Bridge. If it had happened 2 miles above the bridge, it could have happened here.
The U.S. Coast Guard is the primary agency for responding to incidents along the maritime transportation system.
I want to express sympathy for everyone impacted by the tragic incident in Baltimore. The Coast Guard, along with all of our federal, state, and local partners, have pre-prepared contingency plans that are tailored to each area based on our available resources.
Lieutenant Philip Vanderwhite says Air Station New Orleans, located on the Joint Reserve Base Belchase, responds to incidents throughout the Gulf of Mexico and New Orleans area.
We definitely rely on the village, right? But we are poised and we are positioned to respond to areas of concern as rapidly as we need to.
Should a mayday go out, they monitor the International Channel for Emergency Distress Calling through various command centers strategically positioned along the coast. Lieutenant Vanderwhite says every case is different, but their goal remains the same.
Protect those that are on the water, and also to ensure safe and efficient flow of commerce throughout the Mississippi River and along the Gulf Coast.
Now, Lieutenant Vanderwhite says around this time last year, the Coast Guard conducted a full-scale simulated mass rescue operation with more than 30 agencies. That's just one example of how they prepare for potential catastrophes.